In 2001, Nicole Kidman and George Clooney bet $10,000 that he would still be unmarried and childless by the time he turned 40. And once he reached the age of 40 and won the bet, Nicole paid him up, but he made another bet, and this time it was double or nothing that he would stay single till 50. And back then, he had no idea that a few years later he would meet Amal Alamuddin and fall head over heels, and he would become the father of twins. Here is the unexpected love story of George and Amal Clooney. And before going anywhere, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with your Curious Sips family, and also like and share this video. Now let's go for real this time. Lucy Liu, Sarah Larson, Elisabetta Canalis, Stacy Keibler are only a few names that were associated with George Clooney, but none of them were serious enough for him to take things to the next level. The man who was once married to Talia Balsman now was not even thinking about it anymore, to the point that he was betting with other celebrities that he would stay single till 50. But his mind changed when the superwoman Amal Alamuddin entered the picture, and that is the story I am going to tell you today. Love found George and Amal when they were not looking for it. It was a normal day for George in his Lake Como home in July of 2013. His parents were there to pay him a visit, and his friend also stopped by while en route to Cairns with Amal, a barrister specializing in international law and human rights. During his interview with David Letterman, George mentioned that his agent called him and said, "I met this woman who was coming to your house, who you're going to marry." They all knew right from the very beginning. Since George's parents were also there to see him, Amal got the chance to meet them the exact day that she met George for the first time. His dad, Nick, recalled that he and his wife were the ones who actually answered the door when Amal came in. She was charming, gorgeous, and accomplished, but also with her presence there was something in the air that no one could deny. Right then and there, his and hers fates were sealed. Nick knew that this young woman meant something to their son right away, and by the end of dinner, Nick looked at George's mom, Nina, and admitted that this could be trouble for this young man, aka their son George Clooney. Amal and George stayed up all night talking, and then he got her email because she was going to send him some pictures of his parents. George thought she was beautiful, funny, smart, and he had no idea what she was thinking about him. So from the first time that she sent him pictures, they started emailing and talking about what was happening in their lives, and soon they realized that what they had was way more than just a friendship. So they decided to go on their first date together. For their first date, George invited Amal to Abbey Road Studios in London, where he was monitoring and recording the Monuments Men's score. From there, they went for dinner at a hip and chic restaurant suggested by Amal, and once they got out, there was like 50 paparazzi waiting for them. She got familiar with the life of a celebrity right off the bat, and according to George, she handled it like a champ. From that very first date on, pretty much everything started escalating pretty quickly. During the 6 weeks that George was in London, they spent Christmas together in Cabo San Lucas. Then they went on a safari in Kenya in December of 2013. There they visited a place called Giraffe Manor because Amal's favorite animal is giraffes. They made the best out of these 6 weeks, and when George got back to LA, he already knew that she was the one for him. And while showing one of Amal's pictures to his friend, George said that he thinks he's gonna ask Amal to marry him, and that is exactly what happened. By April of 2014, George was completely ready, but he was not sure if Amal was. They both knew that they were the right couple, the right team from the very beginning, but he was not sure if she thought it was too soon to make things official. Despite his doubts, he went for the proposal. He bought the ring, but did not say anything to Amal. It was a leap of faith for him. So on April 28th, he made pasta over champagne, and he told her there was a lighter in the drawer to light a candle. So she reached in and pulled out a ring, and while she was taking the ring, he got on his knee and the perfect song, Rosemary's Why Shouldn't I, was being played in the background. She was so shocked that the only thing she could say was holy shh and oh my god, and then like 20 more minutes passed with Clooney being on his knees still, and she finally said yes and put her 7-carat, 750,000 emerald cut ring on. The next step for them was planning the wedding. It took them 5 months to plan it all and finally have their dream wedding in Venice on September 27th of 2014. At first, they were planning on having a secret wedding. They didn't tell anybody about it, but eventually someone figured it out, and once they got to Venice, there was so many paparazzi and people waiting for them. Seeing that, George told them all, "What are we hiding? We shouldn't be ashamed of this." So they stood up and waved at all the people. The bride was wearing an embroidered off-the-shoulder Oscar de la Renta gown, and the groom was wearing a sleek tuxedo from Giorgio Armani. The two said their vows under an arch of white flowers and celebrated their wedding with their 100 guests till late evening. The next day, they invited their guests for brunch and dinner, and they closed the whole celebration with a civil ceremony on September 29th. After the wedding, the couple stayed very private, but they would show up at events together. And in May of 2015, they attended their first Met Gala as a couple, wearing John Galliano and Giorgio Armani. Considering Amal's career as a human rights barrister and Clooney's background of activism, both of them joined together and started the Clooney Foundation for Justice in 2016. Everything was going perfectly well, but they felt like they had to share all of this love and happiness with someone. That is when the talk of babies came in for the first time. None of them had talked about having children until after their marriage, so they were under the assumption that they didn't want to have them. But after the marriage, things changed. They felt so lucky to live a life they were living that they thought they should share all their good luck, that it would seem self-centered to just have it belong to them. That is when they tried for kids, and it actually happened. In February of 2017, while they were having an ultrasound check, the doctor told them that they were going to have twins, which surprised Clooney. He recalls that he just sat there staring at the piece of paper they had given to him and kept thinking that there was a mistake, that something had to be wrong. He couldn't believe it. The kids arrived 1 month premature in June of 2017 and were named Ella and Alexander. Now they have a complete family and a full house. In his interview with The Hollywood Reporter in 2017, George said that love had changed him in every way. Suddenly, the other person's life becomes more important than your own. The only regret he has is that he was 50-something when that happened. He could have spent even more time with Amal if he had met her earlier. Every single day of his life, George feels lucky and blessed, whether about his life or about his career. These two show us that true love does exist. Do you think Amal and George are going to be together forever? Let's talk about that in the comments, and remember to become part of our Curious Sips family by subscribing to our channel. Until next time.